Oh, this is a bit awkward. Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and here we had Man City fans waiting outside the Etihad Stadium ahead of the Chelsea game, expecting to show moral support and see their team get crowned Premier League champions. Just instead of being inside the ground, they were just stood outside blocking traffic. It's a bit awkward. It's a bit like that creepy stepdad who's been given a restraining order from his daughter, so instead he'll just sit in his parked car across the road singing happy birthday through the window. It's just all a bit sad. But lads, these City fans would have woken up that morning, poured a can of Foster's into their morning bowl of ready break, expecting that they're about to join in with their 5th Premier League title party of their lives. But no, that didn't happen. Marcos Alonso scored the winner. Yeah, the guy with the first touch of a jam mini roll. But apparently, the real villain of the play was Sergio Aguero.
The penalty missed from Aguero was arrogant and selfish given the circumstances. Aha, Aguero, you arrogant prat. Aguero joins the long list of arrogant twats from the spot.
Lads, about 5 years ago, there was a trend whereby the soon-to-be leaving Premier League legends were going on a nationwide tour to get applauded off the pitch everywhere they went. So now we have Sergio Aguero, one of the best ever strikers to ever grace the Premier League. He's now playing in an empty ground before going home to find Twitter accusing him of treason. Even his own Man City fans were having an internet meltdown. Lads, the overreaction is laughable. You'd swear he'd just been caught punching a stray dog in the face or pushing heavily pregnant women in front of a train. Yes, a missed penalty, it's not ideal, but relax, take a breath. It is Sergio Aguero. 1-0 up and coasting. Yes, he probably felt like smacking his own teammate in the face with a tennis racket after Raheem Sterling utterly robbed the goal off his toe. Nice one, Raheem. What are you going to do next? Nick his cheese sandwich in the club canteen? Listen, Aguero is just 5 goals off Andy Cole. He wants to haul himself into 3rd in the Premier League all-time record goal scorer charts before he leaves the country. And yes, whenever you chip the ball into the hands of the goalie, you are always going to be made to look like you have the IQ of a turnip. That is the risk you take when you chip it down the middle. But for City fans to spend the afternoon slagging Aguero off on the internet, I'm sorry, most goalies dive out of the way. How was he supposed to know Edouard Mendy wouldn't? I guarantee you, if Aguero's penalty had come off on the day you win the league title, you would all be tossing yourself into a sock. But calling him arrogant, stupid, lazy? Lads, Zidane did this in a World Cup final, and he was one of the greatest of all time. I mean, come on, when Andrea Pirlo made a fool of a shampoo salesman at Euro 2012, you were all practically foaming at the teeth. Listen, I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, Ademola Lookman did it at West Ham this season, and you just bullied him, comparing him to a constipated goat.
I'm sorry, but there's a massive difference between Aguero and Lookman's penalty. For instance, Lookman was taking the last kick of the game in a match where Fulham were losing by 1 goal for a team who needed every last point this season. Lookman decided to stupidly chip it down the middle. He was gambling with the relegation fortunes of the club who employ him. He was gambling with people's job security. What do you think 3 relegations in 10 years is going to do to a club like Fulham? Some of the kit men are probably going to have to go live in a caravan and take their showers in a roadside ditch. But what was Aguero really risking other than his pride? His team were already winning the game. Is it his fault that Benjamin Mendy then continued to show the first touch of a snowman? That guy is probably going to spend the week traumatized about the mere thought of Reece James. But yeah, so City didn't win the league there then. Who really cares? The guy is your record goal scorer. He's bailed you out time and time again. QPR 2012. So if he wants to take a penalty standing on his head, I think the guy's earned the right. Anyway, yes, great win for Chelsea. They've now beaten Man City twice in the space of 3 weeks. I still haven't quite made up my mind who's going to win the final yet. But be sure to tune into my Champions League prediction next week, if only to bet against a team I pick. And listen, I'll touch on the other Premier League games later in the video, but just for a second, can we take a look at what's happened in mainland Europe this weekend? Ozzy, put down your cup of tea, take your spoon of shreddies out of your gob, because you're going to be in danger of choking until you're blue in the face when you see what's happened in Italy. Juventus 0, AC Milan 3. Speaking of Panenka legends, step forward Andrea Pirlo. One of the most legendary figures in the game, right? You can't hate this guy. Everything he did was coated with class. Well, right now, he's the Italian Frank Lampard. Actually, no, that's an insult to Frank. No, right now, he's the Italian version of Craig Shakespeare. Where are his coaching skills? Where? Are they hidden in his beard? Because he's taken a Juventus team who've been crowned champions of Italy 9 times in a row. He's been given Cristiano Ronaldo, and they're currently sitting 5th in the league. Since 2011, Juventus have won 251 Serie A matches. They have utterly dominated the league, and so being handed a world-class board winner, a goal machine and legend of the game in Ronaldo, there should have been no question who was winning the Scudetto this year, or every year of the man's contract. But now, 5th in the league, losing 3-0 home to AC Milan, letting a former Derby County defender Pocket Ronaldo keep a clean sheet and score on your turf? How has Pirlo lasted this long? Does he have compromising photos of Andrea Agnelli in his wallet? Listen, Agnelli, half the continent hates you right now anyway, so who cares if Pirlo filmed you licking peanut butter off your cat's genitals? Just sack the man. This isn't even the club's first 3-0 home defeat this season. Fiorentina did it 3 days before Christmas. Benevento recently left the stadium with all 3 points, and a bang average Barcelona won here with little problem. How can Pirlo be this bad at management? He never looked like a big talker on the pitch, but neither did Zidane. Zizou looked like an antisocial bookworm who resorted to headbutts instead of conversation. Oh yeah, this socially awkward Baldy, he's doing okay as a manager, isn't he? I don't get it. How is Pirlo so bad at coaching? But more importantly, why is he still in a job? Rito Sarri was binned after winning the league, and yet here Juventus are in danger of being turfed back into the Europa League. I know for a fact the fans don't have fond memories of that tournament. 10 years ago, they were getting knocked out by Fulham. In 2011, they didn't win any of their 6 group games, and were even dealt the indignity of having to compete with Shamrock Rovers in a playoff. Now, moving over to Spain, the Liga title race. The Liga top 4 all played each other this weekend. Barcelona and Atletico Madrid stumbled to a boring 0-0 draw, while Real Madrid, Eden Hazard had to rescue a last-minute equalizer at home to Sevilla in a 2-2 draw. So now, looking at Spain, the Liga top 4. Honestly, just 6 points separates the top 4 teams in Spain this season. Moving over to France, apparently Mauricio Pochettino is about to get sacked this summer. A 1-1 draw at Rennes means they've probably blown their title challenge. 2 games left and Lille are 3 points clear. Lads, since the takeover of 2011, PSG have blown the title race twice. Once against Montpellier in 2011 when they were new money, and then in 2017 when they were coming up against the phenomenon of a teenage Kylian Mbappe. You can make excuses for those 2 times, but what exactly is so fearsome about Lille? They're still wheeling out a 37-year-old Jose Fonte every week. You know, a guy West Ham been to China in 2018. If PSG failed to win the league, then I'm sorry, Poch, and it's official. You are the most overhyped manager of the last 3 years. So what else happened this week? Well, I predicted Leicester to thump Newcastle 3-0. I said Steve Bruce would be made to look like an illiterate schoolboy by the footballing mastermind Brendan Rodgers. So naturally, the Magpies went 4-0 up after an hour. Lads, you can smell it. The Leicester City are not going to get top 4 this season. The last 4 games of the season: Man United, Chelsea again in the cup final, and finally Tottenham at home. This could realistically be the club's most painful month on the pitch since May 2008 when they were relegated to League One. If they lose all 4 of those games, they'll probably wind up 6th in the league and beaten cup finalists. And after bottling the top 4 last season, I can already tell Leicester fans are immediately going to lose sight of reality and spend the summer demanding that Brendan Rodgers be sacked. Now, don't get me wrong, all they will be doing is showing they have the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old girl and a grasp on reality thinner than Boris Johnson's hairline. But still, it's gonna happen, isn't it? Make no mistake about it, Rodgers has done a top-class job at Leicester, but if they're going for top 4, then what business do you have conceding a goal to Paul Dummett? That's a footballing sin alone. Your defence should arguably have to donate a week's wages to the local orphanage. What else? Well, Leeds won against Tottenham 3-1. But that's what happens when you bring Ryan Mason to a battle of wits against Marcelo Bielsa. Tottenham, you might not care if you get Champions League football this season, but I will definitely care if I have to get a silver spoon fiddler scribbled on my body for life. Lads, if Leeds finish top half after this result, if this is the one to do it, then Tottenham and Daniel Levy, I will never forgive you. Ever. Speaking of my wish for Leeds to get dragged into the bottom half, I was an Aston Villa fan for an afternoon when Bertrand Traoré spanked that wonder goal past Dean Henderson into the top corner. I leapt like an epileptic fish. But no, predictably, Man United came back to win again, as Villa showed once again that when playing against that team, you know, someone they've beaten twice in the last 54 attempts, they just have a small club mentality playing against them. And who else? Arsenal. Yes, we're living in a world where it's May, and I'm desperately having to hope that the Gunners manage to finish above Leeds United. It's ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, 3-1 home win. Willian grabbed a wonder goal while Big Sam Allardyce, first relegation of his career, which must make him think, what was the point of coming back? Not getting relegated was his thing. That was the trophy he could put on the mantelpiece, but now what does he have left? A 100% win record as England manager? The fact he hasn't seen his toes in the shower since the mid-90s? Like, what was the point of coming out of retirement? It's like if Floyd Mayweather gets knocked out by Logan Paul. Honestly, Big Sam at 66 years of age, you've chucked your lifetime legacy in a bin. Anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Why is Pirlo still in the job? Italian fans, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.